Yesterday, Phoebe and I were sitting in the room that I'm using as my office right now. We were talking about like money stuff and all the stuff that
Ooh.
I have to, yeah, with like a bunch of like loose ends you have to tie up. Something I'm very bad at doing is invoicing clients.
Oh. Oh, I know. I'm
I just don't do it. And it's like, I don't know what I need to speak this into existence.
yeah,
And like,
Patrick.
I
Can I say something to you?
yes,
You
I
want to
already
be a
know.
successful salesman, right?
Be brutal.
You want to be a really good salesman at Decided Excellence Catholic Magazine,
Yeah.
correct? In order to be a good salesman, you have to get the money
Huh?
from the sale, or
Yes.
else a sale has not happened, and then you are just a man. You are not a salesman. You are
You
just a
know what's
guy.
crazy? You know what's crazy about Decided Excellence?
Yeah.
They do all of that. Okay?
Okay. Well, that's good.
I get the card at the
Yeah.
point of sale, and
Sure.
then they invoice
They
to everyone.
process it. Okay, that's good.
Yes.
Well, I will say, for the Crunch Catholic podcast, in order to secure sponsorships and make money, we have to do that.
I know. And
It took
it's
us a year to get paid for that one thing.
so
We
long.
asked them all the time,
Uh-huh.
or
And part of it
maybe
was like them not responding, and then
part
part
of
of
it
it
was
was me not sending the thing in, and so yeah. So anyway, this is the Patrick's faults day. I'm also
no, we can do Ethan's faults later.
okay. We'll do that episode another
Stupid
time.
nose, dumb face, ugly.
Patrick, irresponsible with money, bad friend. Ethan knows.
No character flaws, just physical defects.
Just you're like Cyrano de
De
Balzac.
Bergerac.
Oh, there it is. Oh. No, Balzac the author, not anyway, never mind.
You
The
just
author,
called anyway.
the author Balzac. Are you familiar with him?
Yeah, is he
Henry.
related to D's?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read him all the time.
Anyway, so one of my flaws is all the invoicing. So we were doing like a list of like all the things we have to do and tying up loose ends and
Mm-hmm.
all the money that we're missing and
Oh
already
yeah,
spent.
oh yeah.
And I just I stood up and I walked into it was like 9 o'clock in the morning yesterday. I stood up, I walked into my little cabinet and I can do the bit here. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, well, you can't do it all day if you don't start in the morning.
Okay.
I had like a little I had like a fifth of whiskey
Mm-hmm.
in the closet um that I hadn't touched in a while.
So here's the question:
Yeah.
did you send the invoices,
No.
Patrick?
What?
Oh, you're gonna get evicted. You're gonna be the most successful poor person on the planet.
I'm gonna be
You're gonna,
podcasting from a barrel like
you're
Diogenes.
gonna be podcasting from a barrel.
Like the philosopher Diogenes.
Yes, exactly. That was the exact image. And I'll be podcasting from a barrel, but I'll be like a prospector who lost all of his pants in the gold rush. And I'll be kind of a wacky character, and you'll be a very thoughtful barrel boy. Welcome to The Crunch, the only podcast that doesn't have an off-the-books relationship with Bill Clinton. It's your boy, Ethan.
And I'm Patrick.
You seen that Epstein stuff?
Actually, no, I haven't.
They
Fill me in.
released his black book this week.
Oh yeah?
His calendar. And
Uh-huh.
apparently, allegedly, he had a bunch of CIA operatives and intelligence agents coming to his island, and he was maybe like an agent for the international intelligence community and was
Oh.
blackmailing various targets with child sex. So, but it's all, I mean, we don't know because he's dead.
He's still alive. They moved him to the island next door.
They did.
We're gonna
They looked everywhere except the adjacent island for him.
They were like, that'd be the obvious place to hide, so we're not gonna look there. It's never the first place you look, so we're not gonna look there first.
Right.
But yeah,
Genius Epstein fakes his own death and goes to hide on Epstein Island, thinking surely they'll never look for me here.
They don't think I'm that stupid. Um,
Oh, dude.
no, it'll be like when Metro Man fakes his death in
Mhm.
Megamind, and we find him like all fat and
Oh.
yeah, you know your favorite movie,
Well,
Megamind?
yeah.
Oh, you hate Megamind.
Ah, yes, now you remember me.
Yeah.
Now I'm here. Can I ask you a question? This
We
is
kinda have a Metro Man Megamind relationship, don't we?
I kind of give a Mega Man vibe that Metro Man doesn't really like. Um, can I ask you a question? This
Yeah,
is purely hypothetical. Let's say you are a
it never is.
let's say you're a like a I don't know, this is spitballing, like a warden of a prison.
Sure.
And you have probably like the highest profile criminal that you've ever had come into your prison
Yeah.
inside one of your secure cells.
Mhm.
You'd probably like watch him, right? Like make
Just
sure
check him out.
the cameras never turned off or anything like that.
Yeah,
You kind of would make sure that no one could get in there and kill him.
keep a guy there.
Yeah. Just a thought. Just I mean, you probably would do that, right?
Yeah.
If you were a warden?
Uh-huh.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, I would.
Okay, all right. That's all we have to say about that then.
Yeah.
Welcome to the I actually want to start a conspiracy podcast. Have I told you about
I
this?
You did tell me about this. I think it'd be funny.
I don't have any time.
It'd be
I keep
hilarious. Well, with the Catholic Church, there's so much like
oh, there's so much
there's
content.
so much content because like there've been conspiracy. Oh my gosh, like could you imagine a conspiracy theory podcast about the 800s papacy?
Yes.
That was
It would be
crazy.
my podcast. That would be the thing. We'd like alternate. We'd do like the 800s papacy, then we'd do the Oklahoma City bombing. And then we do the 900s papacy, and then we'd do 9/11. And then
9/11.
we'd do the thousands papacy, and then we would do January 6th. And we would just it would just alternate back and forth, and everyone would be like, "Oh, I'm tuning in for the Oklahoma City one. Oh, what's this about Avignon? I'm gonna check this out." And I think we'd bring some people to the fold, into the flock, as it were.
Speaking of January 6th, the Feast of Fools, as we know, is
Mm,
as we found out it's called
yes.
in The
The
Hunchback.
shaman is a modern day Quasimodo.
The shaman
The
is a
QAnon
modern
shaman.
I in a way, Alex Jones is Pierre Gringoire.
Hey, tune in.
"Please, everyone, stop storming the Capitol building. We're
Come
peacefully
watch my
assembled."
morality play where I stand here and I yell about, Hillary. Anyway,
Yes. Anyway.
um, if you don't know what we're referencing our bonus podcast, which is on Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/thecrunch and you subscribe at the $10 a month and up level, you can listen to our thoughts on The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is actually a surprisingly prescient novel about our modern day.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of really, really interesting thoughts about the printing press, how the printing press takes down the art of architecture, and
Crazy.
we got really into it, and it was an amazing conversation. So if that's
Yeah.
interesting to you, you should check it out on patreon.com/thecrunch, $10 a month and up level.
It's also a very funny story.
It's a really
I
comical.
it I'll give a little spoiler if in case you're interested. It's not really a spoiler, but it's like a little piece of dialogue that I found hilarious when I was reading it the other day.
Yeah.
Cloud Frollo, the
Mhm.
guy from the movie, you've all seen him. He's kind of hot for Esmeralda. Pierre Gringoire gets married to Esmeralda forcibly, and she doesn't love him, but they're living together. And Cloud Frollo finds this out, and then he's like freaking out. And then Pierre Gringoire's like, "Yeah, we haven't had sex, but the goat and I are friends." You know, and then Cloud Frollo goes like, "Have have you?" He's like, "Have you laid a finger on her?" And he's like, "What? The goat? No, the woman."
Oh, they're funny.
Hilarious.
Even back in the day, it was like not cool to have sex with goats.
Yeah, actually,
Isn't
that's
that
kind of a
wild? Yeah.
universally
Well, that's if you
deriled thing.
listen to the left, back before science, people just did anything.
Mhm. They did what was right in their own eyes.
They did.
Yeah.
Uh, Speaking of science and barbaric practices, I went to the dentist this week.
I haven't been to the dentist in so long.
Patrick, you gotta go to the
Need to
dentist.
go to the dentist.
You gotta get your teeth right.
Yeah, dude. My
You
teeth
don't
are
need don't
busted.
get braces, don't get orthodontics, but you gotta get a cleaning, bro.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't clean your teeth, you don't get them right, that can be like they'll be falling out before you know it.
Yeah.
Can I
I
tell you
brush,
why?
I floss.
Okay, well, that's good.
I do that,
You
yeah.
do more than me. Um, I won't tell you which of those I do. But
Nobody flosses. Everyone understands that.
I go to the dentist, and I don't know you can't relate to this because you haven't been in so long, but they have this polish weapon,
Yes.
and it's like
It feels
at
crazy.
at my old dentist, they had a sand blaster, and I really enjoyed that. Some people might know about this. It's kind of like I don't know what, but they blasted my teeth with sort of a sandy, gritty kind of concoction, and
Yeah.
it was much quicker, and it actually felt not bad. Now, at my new dentist, they have this little rotating polish gun that they press on the teeth.
Yeah.
I would rather them scrape for another hour than to go through 10 minutes of the little rotating weird texture thing on my teeth every single time. I hate it so much. And the final straw that made me lose my mind was we go through she's scraping, clawing, doing all the things, polish, floss. I'm like, okay, we're good to go. But she gets the scraper back out. She goes
Mhm.
back in
Oh,
to like check again, and she's digging around. I'm like, dude, what do you want? The Nobel Prize? Like, we're done here. It's over. Why do you
we
have to go?
scraped.
She's
We're
like
good.
digging into the gums. It's like, what do you expect? Of course you didn't see that before because you're going under my skin now. Why are you doing this to me?
Yeah.
I don't like it. I think it's all for show. And then at the end, you know what they do?
What do they do?
They say, "Hey, it looks like your insurance doesn't cover this, but there's you can get a fluoride rinse for $30." Do you have the fluoride rinse? You've heard of the fluoride rinse?
Yeah, I've heard of the fluoride rinse.
We're losing our minds at city hall meetings because there's fluoride in the water, the tap water. And then you go to the dentist and they're like, "Hey, here's that thing that everyone's so worried about. Swish it around in your mouth for 45 seconds
For $30.
for $30." I don't know what's going on at the dentist, man. I said no to the fluoride. I don't think it's real.
I don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think now that I pay for my own health and dental insurance, which
You don't go to the
is
dentist.
crazy. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go to the dentist now.
You
I'm
should go to
paying
the
I'm
dentist.
paying for it now.
Did you not pay for your own health insurance before?
Well, I did, but, like, it was work, so it was withdrawn from my paycheck, so
Right,
I
so you
didn't
just
see
didn't
the money.
know that you were paying for it.
Yeah, now it's a
Yeah.
but no, the dental insurance was fully covered by my
Mm,
employer.
nice.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
wasn't
you gotta
by
we gotta schedule you a visit. Everyone in the Discord, uh, at Patrick, when this episode comes out,
go to the
ask
dentist.
him if he's scheduled an appointment with the dentist
It's
because,
just been a minute.
yeah, you gotta get on top of that, man.
I would go to my dentist every time I came home, and I, like, didn't come home for, like, that 6-month period, so I just haven't been to the dentist.
Right, it's hard to make that was me when I was in Tulsa. You have to make that transition from whenever I'm home for spring break or for summer break and winter break, I go to the dentist that I've been going to my whole life to I just got to get a new dentist now.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I gotta schedule my appointments not during summer or winter break, so I have more options
right. But I
than
will
everyone's
say
doing.
there is something about so like they schedule like you're 21, 22, and you schedule your next dentist appointment 6 months out, but you like move, you get a new job, you're moving away. Like I moved to Tulsa. So I was like in Ave Maria for the summer, right? Like I was
Mhm,
doing
mhm.
training. Dentist calls. They're like, "Hey, your appointment's next week." I'm in Florida. I'm not going back. So I tell them I'm not going. And then they're like, "Oh, do you want to reschedule?" I was like, "No." And then you just cancel the appointment, and then you realize that you just don't have to go to the dentist. Like you just like there's this moment where your eyes just open up. You're like,
You're like,
"What?
"Oh."
I can just go my whole life without doing that?"
It's the picture of, like, the sunny castle and, like, the dark and it's like normal healthy teeth falling out, you know?
Yeah. But it's the realization that you have the freedom to just like the other day I was at Office Depot. I was buying clip I was at clipboards. I was buying
Yeah.
clipboards for this event that I have tonight. And I go up to the counter, the guy scans it, $8, whatever. He's like, "What's a good phone number?" I said, "No, thanks."
Yeah. Yeah.
You can just the world you can do anything.
Yeah.
People don't realize they
I
live
don't tell
like sheep.
I never give my phone number. If I do, like, I need it for an account or something,
Yeah.
I change the same digit every time.
Mhm.
So I have a fake phone number where, like, there's a 3 instead of a 2.
What is it?
Yeah, real quick, it's,
I know your phone number by heart.
really? I know Phoebe's by heart.
I was gonna look it up, but I can't get there too fast. And it's like 7.
Nope.
All right. Well, that's it for me. What else has been happening, man? What's been going on? It's May, as of recording, it's May 3rd.
Wow, May
We're
the
we're in a
3rd be with
new we're in a new era. We're a couple weeks away from Pod Girl Summer launching in earnest.
very excited for
How do you
Pod Girl
feel?
Summer. I have an outfit ready to go. I have a button up like this shirt, my new
Yeah.
my new my new style, my
Yeah.
new Florida era.
Mhm.
I have a shirt like this, but it has flamingos and Santa hats all over it.
Oh.
And I have shorts, like Chubby's shorts,
Mhm.
that aren't really Chubby's because I just am chubby, that are, I just am. They're flamingo shorts. So I got a flamingo outfit, I'm gonna get a flamingo lawn ornament, and that's gonna be and I'm gonna have just just a glass of water that's just sweating, just
Mm.
sweating.
Mm. Water, huh?
Maybe
That
lemonade.
that's I was about to say, you gotta get some type of fruit in there.
Yeah, lemonade that's just sweating. I'm thinking about getting like a prop glass of lemonade, you know?
Why? Why
Because
not just have real lemonade?
because I don't wanna drink it because it'll drink it too fast. I'd rather have, like, a really ornate, like, you know, like, stupidly good-looking glass of lemonade with, like, ice cubes. They're like, "Why are the ice cubes not melting?" A little
Mhm.
umbrella in it, you know? I'll
Uh-huh.
get, like, those ice cubes from the Don't Break the Ice game. You ever play that game?
I did play that game with the polar bear, and
Yeah,
you have to, like, tap the squares with the hammer, and
yeah,
then whoever makes the polar bear fall through the ice, it loses, or maybe it's a penguin, I don't remember.
something like that. But, yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna
Stupid dinky little plastic hammer.
yeah, use a real hammer like a man. I'm gonna fill
Imagine
up the
bringing a real hammer to that game and just ruining your child's
I
day.
broke the ice.
Oh man, too bad. Guess we have to play poker now, kid. Time to gamble.
Heck yeah. Alright. Yeah, so I'm
What
excited for Pod Girl Summer.
I think you should I think your lemonade plot is a little
Okay.
flimsy to me. Much
Sorry.
like the plot of the movie Stargate, which I recently watched.
Oh, yeah, I've never seen it.
It's an aside, I love the movie Stargate because it has all of my favorite sci-fi tropes in it. So, like, they're in the desert.
Need a lift?
They discover an alien thing,
Mhm.
right? Flash forward to present day, 45, 50, 60 years later, however long later. There's a nerd in a lecture hall and he's talking about aliens and he's a nerd and everybody leaves because they're like, oh, this is gross. And he tries to walk out and a car pulls up and it's the Air Force and they want him to get in the car. And this mysterious woman hands him an amulet and she's like, you're gonna work for us now. We're gonna give you top secret clearance. And then he goes to present to all the military guys. He's got all the rolls of paper and he's dropping them everywhere. And he starts explaining it to them, and they're like, in English, professor. And and then they turn on the Stargate, and he's like, I have to be the one to go through because I'm the only one that can translate the runes to get us back. And then he goes through the Stargate with all the military guys, and they're, the nerd guys coming with us. And then he gets to the other side. He can't translate it. Surprise, to get him back through. And they're like, we thought that you could get us back through. And he's like, I didn't know. Didn't communicate. And like, surely if you went through a Stargate, you would have a meeting, about what would happen on the other side. So it's just like just a comedy of errors over and over again. But I just love the whole government finds nerdy guy
Yeah,
backed by a wealthy heiress to a fortune to discover
sure.
alien rune. It's just great. It was a really great
That's
movie.
awesome.
But
I I
yeah.
love the "in English, please" trope. It's so when I was a child, like,
Hmm.
young, like, before like, in middle school, I
Yeah.
loved The Big Bang Theory. I thought it was
Oh yeah.
hilarious because I
Yes.
had never seen a joke before.
Our whole universe was in a hot, dense state that nearly 14
Yeah,
million years ago
yeah, that
expansion started.
hey,
Wait.
remember we're on YouTube now, so
Oh,
stop.
the artichokes began to drool.
There
We
it
built
is.
the pyramids. Stargate. Okay.
So Stargate. I I
They're in the pyramid.
it's one of those things we were talking about low IQ earlier, right? I
Remember the
like
Big
Big Bang
Bang
Theory
Theory?
is one of those things that it's like it feels smart, because they're
Yeah.
saying smart
Right,
words.
because they're talking about mononucleosis.
Quantum. Yeah, they're talking
Quantum.
about quantum mononucleosis. Isn't that mono?
That is mono.
Yeah, okay. Quantum
And then
mononucleosis.
the hot girl across the hall is like, "I drink beer.
In English, please.
I drink beer, and I don't understand what you're saying, but I'll hang
One of
out with
the
you anyway."
she's not Southern, but yeah.
She is Southern. She's from Tennessee.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
my name Penny. I know the power I wield over these men. I will use it for 18 seasons.
She sits there like this and is like, "You've been doing a lot of stupid with your money." The Dave Ramsey impression. What do you You're in $300,000 of credit card debt.
You got mononucleosis from a
You've been
reactor.
you've been spending like you're in Congress.
You've kept that haircut this whole time, Howard.
I my favorite bit about a Big Bang Theory that I've
Yeah.
ever done is Sheldon is like, if your olfactory glands are detecting increased amounts of methane, it is probably because I have flatulated.
Yeah.
No, they have a real physicist to help them with the show to make sure everything's accurate.
Oh man. I mean, it's a funny, it's just a really funny show. They've
Yeah,
got, they really they've got everything, right? They've got comic book references, science references,
nerd jokes,
yes,
Jew
characters,
Jewish people jokes.
episodes, commercials. Like it's everything you'd want in a TV show. It's got it.
Yep.
Anyway, you were
It's
talking about
jokes
the Big
about
Bang Theory.
sex.
Oh, that's true. People
Yeah,
having sex,
indeed.
but you never actually see it.
Jokes about erectile dysfunction.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
yeah.
Yeah, not a
It's real
joking
sad.
matter, really.
You know what? That's
What?
where I draw the line. No
Yeah,
holds
that's
barred,
a
that's
little
where I
bit
draw
too
the line.
much.
Have you
Make a
noticed how
mockery of science all you want.
don't make a mockery of the marital act
Don't
or
yes,
the lack thereof.
yes, the dismarital act. A
You
bunch
know
of
you know what I've
nerdy
noticed?
fornicators on that show.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
ridiculous. I refuse to believe that that's accurate to real
Yeah.
life. If they had really had a physicist on the show, they would know that nerds don't have sex because they are nerds. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. Okay, so have you noticed on Netflix that like every TV show now is like irreverent? That's labeled as irreverent. Have you seen that?
Oh, I recognize the label. Um, the only one that I pay attention to is the one on Seinfeld that says "about nothing" because it's like surely that's the only one.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
only
yeah, yeah.
show that has that label. Unless they just really don't like one of the shows. It's like, man, this show is really not about anything, but
This is
it's like
nothing.
derogatory. It's like Seinfeld in the third season of Big Mouth.
Yeah,
But yes, I have seen the irreverent, but I have not
yeah.
noticed its proliferation.
Every TV show that I see on Netflix is witty,
Witty,
irreverent,
irreverent. That's true.
and yeah.
Witty, irreverent.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't think it's like, and it's like a Netflix show too. They're pushing to me. I'm like, I
Mhm.
don't think you get to decide that your show is witty. You could certainly decide, and it's also kind of lame to be like, yeah, and this show's also super irreverent. I don't care about anything. I don't care who I offend. I'm not racist. I hate everybody equally. You know, that kind of thing. I'm just surprised that we as like entertainment hasn't graduated past that kind of, because
You
like
see the kind of people that go into the entertainment industry?
that's true. I mean, I at least expect, if we're in a world of going into a world of tolerance and
Yeah.
understanding and
Mhm.
the woke mob, etc. I would expect that a little more reverence.
Yeah.
You expect a little
You'd
more
think that
piety.
I think if you think about demographically, who is going in to this field? Who's becoming a writer, director, producer, actor? It's like only the top 1% of the people who pursue this get
Yeah,
there, right?
yeah,
But what does everybody share, right? Everybody goes and they do their theater thing in high school and then they
yep,
go and they move to LA and they start doing auditions. Everybody in the world tells them, "You're an idiot for doing this. You're so stupid. You're never going to make it," right?
yeah,
So when the people actually do make it, they have this complex where everybody's told them, "You're not going to make it." And then they actually do make it. So then
mhm,
naturally, like all of the stuff that gets made by those people has this weird like FU energy because they all were told that they couldn't
yeah,
do it and then they did it. So it's like, well, I guess everything you believe in is wrong because I believed in myself and looked at where I got to be. And now I'm a writer for Rivendell. and it's like,
And now I'm
wow.
on strike.
Now I'm on strike. Did you see my tweet about all the late night show hosts? Oh, I thought
Someone
that was so
said that Seth Meyers was like a late night version of John Oliver, and I thought that was really funny to say because late John Oliver is a
He's
late
a
night host.
Oh, that's so weird.
Is that really funny?
Seth Meyers is a late night version. I don't even know what does Seth Meyers do? What's his shtick? I've never seen a Seth Meyers clip go viral.
No. No, that's probably fair. Yeah, so, basically what they did with the Seth Meyers show was they took because he was on SNL with Amy Poehler, and they did Weekend Update. That was their big thing.
Ah, and then he got a show from it.
Yeah, they were the longest running hosts of Weekend Update for a long time, and then
Mm,
basically they were like, "Let's do a late night show," and he was really bad at the monologue. This is what I was told. I watched his stand-up special or something,
yeah.
and, he they were like, "Let's put you back behind the desk and do clips and, like, do, like, photos and that sort of thing." Yeah.
I hate that genre of late night TV where they like play a clip that's more interesting than the show itself, and then it cuts back to the host going like this is
No, no, it's not
making a
him doing.
shocked face and like I can't believe what we just witnessed.
Yeah, it's not it's graphics, not clips. They're not, like, showing movies, they're, like, showing
Oh,
it's
I
like
got you.
Weekend
I got you.
Update.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
basically Weekend Update,
Right,
yeah,
right, right, right.
but every day, which is a little much.
Yeah. I think I want to go back because friend of the show, fan of the podcast, he's never listened. James Arnold Forbes McCann said that he really, really loves, he said this on a podcast once, that he really loves the 2007 Conan show
Mhm,
because it was the writer strike, so all the other shows were shut down. But Conan kept his show going, and he like paid
mhm,
all of the staff people out of his own pocket, basically,
yeah.
which is awesome. But apparently, it's just this like crazy fever dream where like talked about one week where like Conan bought a disco ball and just like turned it on and danced on TV. And then the next night he added a fog machine. And then the next night he added lasers. And like he just kept escalating this bit where he just danced to some song.
That's great.
And because they didn't have any writers, they didn't have any
Yeah,
content. And so he just kind of had to wing it for however long the strike lasts. So I kind of want to find the footage of that and go back and watch it because I was 11, so I wasn't
yeah,
awake when it was on.
sure.
Yeah. But I'm interested in going back. Those poor writers.
Yeah, they need to, what do they need? They need insurance. We gotta start giving them dental insurance. They haven't been to the dentist in years.
That's true. Speaking of the entertainment industry, I have a bit of some might call it a topic. Some might call it
Oh,
a discussion to be had.
sure, I'm always down to have a discussion.
So you've heard of Catholicism.
I'm passingly familiar.
Yes, as am I.
I have a passing familiarity.
And you've heard of celebrities, have you not?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. I think these two things have a bit of a problem with one
You're
another.
telling me that you have a hot take about Catholic celebrities? Get in line, buddy.
I do. I do have a hot take about
Everybody's
Catholic
got a hot.
celebrities. I've just been
Every time any kind of Catholic celebrity does anything, someone on Twitter poops their pants. They're
yeah.
just so priests shouldn't have Twitter. Lay people shouldn't be famous. Lay priests shouldn't have famous Twitter accounts. Everybody just has an opinion of like this shouldn't exist. And I'm like, look, we can't just hit the button that stops people from being famous. Anyway, keep going.
Patrick, it sounds like you yourself have an opinion about all of this.
I have an opinion about the people. This is my problem.
I
Is
don't care about the celebrities. I care about the people that eat up all their slop and filth. I hate
I
those
don't
people.
care. I don't care. I don't care about that.
You
You
don't
care
care about
about
that?
that?
What do you care about?
I care about the people that are whining on Twitter. I probably shouldn't care about them as much because they're not real
Hmm.
and they don't matter. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's
I
what I care
think here's what I think. I think that celebrities are only cool if they go to the traditional Latin mass.
about.
For the audio listeners, I just put a corn cob pipe in my mouth when I said that.
That was great.
Thanks.
Why do you have a corn cob pipe? Are you smoking now? That
I've been
hard?
smoking.
Yeah, you've been.
I've been
I've been smoking.
I've been smoking. I like the cigar. I have a humidor here.
Oh,
Don't know how to
nice.
use it. It apparently requires setup, and that's not something I'm prepared for at this
Yeah,
stage of my life.
you have to put water in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of waiting to set up the humidor and load it up with tobacco products until I
Mhm.
move to my next house.
Fair enough.
Because usually I don't smoke unless someone gives me something to smoke. Like I don't
Yes.
go to the store and like, hey, I'll have a bag.
Macanudo. I'll take a bag of
Like,
Macanudos.
well,
I'll take a big one. I'll take a big Macanudo, a Big Mac, for
you
that's
do
what
have
we
to
call it.
get a bag of the pipe tobacco because then you
Yes.
put it into the thing and you tamp it down and then you
Yeah.
smoke it. Um, so anyway,
You just stick a match upside down in the bowl, and
what,
then you just
what were we talking?
you were talking about you have a hot take about Catholics
Uh,
and celebrities.
it's not a hot take. It's just something that's been bothering me.
Sure.
Because I've been thinking a lot about this was a while ago. So it kind of was all brought up about it was the article from America Magazine about the Met Gala, about how the Catholic Church should have a Met Gala. Um,
Sorry, that was a really funny article.
yeah, but I've also. So what did you think about that? Let's start
Did
with
you
that.
see my response to it?
No, what did you say?
I haven't been responding. It's been 36 days since I've reply guide to someone on Twitter. I have not
What do you
replied to
mean?
anyone on Twitter.
Like you replied to me?
Yeah, in your circles, but on my
Oh,
alt account. So
gotcha.
like on my public account, I haven't replied. Anyway, so I didn't respond to this, but I would have because it was like the Catholic Church should uh should do something like the Met Gala. Like, yeah, that's a really good idea. What if the Catholic Church was the center of arts and culture? That's a really good
It's a
idea. Why
crazy
haven't we
idea.
tried that? It's like a guy seeing a hospital for the first time. Whoa, what a great way to serve the sick. The Catholic Church should get in on this.
That's
it was
really
a very it
funny.
was a very funny take. Just because like I don't know, it's
It's so
obvious that
funny. It's so funny that there's a guy out there who's intimately familiar with the Catholic Church and all she holds dear, but sees a hospital for the first time. I don't know who that guy is, but he's great.
but apparently it exists for the Met Gala. Someone is
Yeah,
very familiar with the Catholic Church and is
right.
like, "Oh wow, like an art gallery that is
Hmm.
funded by patrons. What
Hmm.
a novel idea. The Catholic Church should do that." It's like, "Hey man, how do you think the Vatican got there?" All right, we
Yeah.
wealthy patrons paid a guy who liked drawing penises on the ceiling.
Oh yeah.
Michelangelo? Yeah.
Well, oh, I was thinking about the other guy.
That'd actually be a really funny retort for a middle schooler who like draws a
Uh-huh.
cartoon on
Yeah.
the chalkboard. Be like, no, I'm just like Michelangelo. He drew it on the Sistine Chapel. I'm drawing it on your board. You're welcome.
Or it could be an escalation from a teacher where it's like he finds the drawing of the penis,
Yeah,
and he shows him the Sistine Chapel. It's like, get good if you're gonna do this. Like if you're gonna if you're gonna draw these, they need to be good.
they need to
I
be
c-
good.
yeah, I don't need two circles and a half an oval, really. That's what
Really,
you're
come on.
that's what you're going with? Look at this. God is in this painting. What are you drawing? Pubic
Yeah.
hair? Get out of here. So anyway, a lot of
Get
sexual talk in
I
this
like
episode.
get good. I love that. That's
Get
that's
good.
funny.
That's the kids respect that. When you tell them to get good, they're like, "All right,
Yeah, I
bet
will.
that kid's
Yeah,
gonna become an artist now.
I
Might
did
not be
used
the
to
kind
say
of
like
artist we want."
whenever. Yeah, yeah. I'd say it to my middle school. Like, don't swear. You're bad at it. You don't. Just don't say any swear words until you become an adult.
Yeah.
Just stop. You
Yes.
sound like a child when you say it. You don't sound like an adult.
Those poor squeakers, man. They're just trying to sound tough, but it pops out of them, and it's like that's a four-letter word that don't belong in
They're like,
their
I'm
mouth.
so crapping mad, and it's like, oh, you're so cute. Stop.
Poor guy.
Just don't say swear
What
words.
what happened? What happened, baby? Did you drop your juice box? So okay, so the Met Gala. So this happened. So I didn't read the article. I just
Yeah.
saw the discourse. Basically, it seemed like someone was saying the Catholic Church needs to host an event where we invite Beyonce or something.
Oh, I didn't read the article, so that's probably
Okay,
mine.
I think I saw some excerpts. I think the gist of it was, hey, why doesn't the Diocese of New York or the Diocese of Chicago or like one of these wealthier dioceses host an event similar to this where we do invite notable figures of society to come and celebrate the arts, but it's all by the Catholic Church for the Catholic Church. Why don't we do that? Because people would come. And everyone was like, how dare you? You're such an asshole. This is ridiculous. Um, and I think it's like this weird. It feels like we're on two ends of the spectrum because people are like, "How I can't believe you would invite all these pro-choice celebrities and all these people that don't believe in
Oh,
God,
sure.
and
Yeah.
or like the why do we need an event for the insanely wealthy, at this period of
Yeah.
time in
It's
America?
not yeah, it's not woke or based to do it. So it's like people have
Right.
found yeah.
Right. So that's like that you have that side of the thing. And then you have the other side of the Catholic thing, which we talked about before, where it's like, did you know that Mark Wahlberg went to Ash Wednesday Mass today? And everyone's like
Oh.
losing their mind
Yeah.
because he made a video with Mario Andretti about, prayer. Some guy, I don't know who it is, but his first name's Mario, last name potentially Andretti. And so we have that side of it, and we have the other side of it. And it feels like what maybe it's because it's the silent majority, maybe. Um, but to me, it feels like we should just look like if a celebrity has some amount of Catholicism about them,
Yeah.
or there's some association with Catholicism, whether it's something like Shia LaBeouf, where like his testimony is really good and people are drawn to the faith because of it, or maybe someone like Mark Wahlberg, where you're like not really sure what's going on over there, or someone
Yeah.
like Lady Gaga, where it's like, yeah, I'm Catholic, but then she like eats a dog live on stage, and you're like, what is that? Why'd you
Hey.
do that? you know,
At least
so
make it a goat, something a little more socially acceptable.
yeah, um,
Just kidding.
I and a lot of this is wrapped up too with what happened with Cameron Bertuzzi not too long ago.
Oh, sure.
That
Yeah.
I think we might have talked about it, but just this like he was pressured basically to put his Catholicism or whatever he ended up doing into hiding because people were asking him every day, "When's your confirmation? When's your confirmation? How's your baptism going? How's this going? When are you doing this? When are you coming home? When are you doing this? When are you doing this?" And it just like drove him to say like, "I'm not going to talk about my denomination anymore because of all of you freaks."
Yeah.
And he didn't say that, but so that's like we had this well-known apologetics channel that now maybe he's Catholic, maybe he's not, but he's
Yeah.
not going to talk about it anymore because we freaking pressured him into it.
Yeah.
And so is there a way to interact with all this stuff without it just getting out of hand? Because it feels like it's either, oh, I found out that my favorite football player was raised Catholic, and now I'm just like, it feels like people get more re-entrenched into the pop culture thing rather than into the Catholicism thing.
Yeah,
Like
that's
it,
the
it
issue. It's
reaffirms
not
their
yeah.
deal. It's like, oh, like if everyone found out today that Taylor Swift was Catholic, more people wouldn't go to mass, more people would listen to Taylor Swift. It's like we talked about Kanye last week. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, oh, seated Jesus is king, I'm gonna go pray more. It's like I'm gonna listen to more Kanye.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it just doesn't feel like people are oriented in the correct way.
Mhm.
You know?
Interesting. Yeah, it's like, "Oh, now that this person that I celebrity worship is Catholic, it's actually okay for me to celebrity worship them."
Yeah.
I don't have to, like, put that little block in my brain where I go, "This person isn't on the
Yeah.
team,"
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I think that we have to be okay with people being imperfect because yeah, like, that's my opinion
I have
about Lady Gaga.
no
You're like,
tolerance
"I'm
for
not."
that.
Okay. That's my,
Yeah.
like, opinion about okay, so, this is true about, Lady Gaga and I don't know, maybe like a more right wing,
Bug
traditionally
Hall.
wealthy celebrity. Bug Hall, yeah, sure. The two sides of the spectrum. Inside you are two wolves, and the one that wins is the one that you feed,
The one is the little rascal that got banned from Twitter, and the other
and
one
one is the
is
little monster who's still there.
whoa. We should be a hip hop group.
Yeah. She calls her fans little monsters. Did you know that?
I didn't know that actually.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that not everybody knows that.
Well, you're
Yes,
locked in with the Lady Gaga fandom.
I'm a big Lady Gaga guy.
You're a little monster.
I'm a little monster. I'm a little stinker.
I'm a little nasty boy. I'm a little gross guy.
Oh, man. So, yeah, it's, yeah, it's, the Catholic Met Gala, right? People are upset, like, "Oh, you're gonna invite a bunch of pro-abortion people to the gala," and then the woke people are like, "Oh, you're gonna invite a bunch of rich people to the church." It's a really funny thing to
Yeah.
say. No, we gotta keep those guys out. It's like the opposite of the Pharisees, like, "Because you're rich, that must mean you suck." It's like the same vibe, but it's the opposite direction. It's so
It's like if the
goofy.
Pharisees were stupid and poor. Oh
Like,
man.
yeah, it's like I'm in crushing credit card and school debt. That makes me better than you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. It's like
No,
I
it's
get I understand the impulse. I'm there too. There are
yeah.
billionaires. Why do billionaires exist? Not for good reasons. Like I get it, but it's like at a certain point you have to recognize that no one is beyond salvation.
Right.
And the further we push people away from the church, the less they're going to convert. And then
Mhm.
they're going to give all their money to Planned Parenthood. Like what do you
Yeah.
want? You know? And
I
so I
was
guess this is my
yeah.
this is what I'm saying. Is like we have to be okay with people being imperfect, and that's true with the Catholic celebrities that we like and the Catholic celebrities we don't like. We have to be
Mhm.
okay with like the mainstream celebrities that happen to be Christian or Catholic. We have to be okay if, Lady Gaga isn't perfectly orthodox.
Right.
And we have to be okay admitting that the Mark Wahlbergs that we like are not necessarily perfectly orthodox because they're
Yes.
sinners like us.
Yes. I was talking to a guy the other day who was recently so I in my job, in my line of work, I'm a major gifts officer, right? Like I'm trying to solicit gifts in the
NGO, more
5
like MGO.
in the 5 to 6 figure range. Like that's my job is to raise large sums of money for pro-life work. Okay? Which means I interface with a lot of people who have the capacity to give those kinds of gifts. So
Yes.
naturally they're in situations that you or I are never going to be in. And
Yes.
so I was talking to
They
this
own like
guy.
oil fields and
Yes,
yeah,
like which is
private jet
crazy.
repair companies.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that, but man, there's a lot of people in oil, at least in Oklahoma City.
Caviar dealerships.
Dermatologists, actually,
Yeah?
crazy because they're the ones that do the plastic surgery.
Yes. Yeah.
Those non-elective surgeries will really rake it in for you.
Oh, yeah, I have meetings with them
Yeah,
for
you do.
ads in the magazine.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Patrick's just like staring at 2 silicone breasts on the wall. So you want to buy an ad?
Let's may
Is
what if we
there-
reschedule? You chop you
oh, my wife's calling. I gotta go.
you chop those off yourself? Alright.
um, but I was talking to this guy, and
Talking
he.
about Silicon Valley. Alright. Anyway,
All right.
there it is.
I had to explain to my wife what the Grand Tetons were the other day. She was like, "Let's go to the Grand Tetons," and I was like, "Huh." And she was like, "Why are you laughing?" I was like, "Because it's named after." A boob."
Really?
Yeah, like Teton is like a. It's the think about the etymology of that word.
Sure. I was thinking the joke, but I didn't think it was real.
No, it's real because the mountains kind of look. I didn't come up with the name, so let's
Fair.
be
I
clear.
I I believe
I'm
you. I
just.
believe you.
I don't shoot the
I
messenger.
get it. There's a mountain in Steubenville that looks like a butt. So,
Don't inject the messenger with Botox. That's all I'm saying. So I was talking to this guy, and he was telling me about how he just got back from Italy. So
yeah.
he went to Rome, I think for it's like the Papal Foundation. You've heard of this, right? So
Yes.
it's a lot of people who really love the church, who have the capacity to do really cool things all over the globe. And this guy is great. He does stuff locally. He does stuff
Mhm.
nationally with groups like Focus. He like runs he doesn't run it, but he gives significantly to like missions in Nicaragua. Like he does a lot of really good stuff. So this is like the type of guy that you want to be friends with.
Yeah, you wanna be on the
So
Swiss team.
he was telling me he's like, yeah, I was at this guy. I was on a boat, but it wasn't really a boat. It was like a condo on the water, and they just like live on the water. And in the back of my mind, I was like, sounds like a tax haven to me, but I did not say that out loud. Um, so he was like at this guy's boat. He's like, I was talking to this guy and he's from Connecticut and he's involved with like the Sandy Hook Foundation. Like he's like
Oh,
on some board. And he was telling me about how there's 2 different foundations. And there's one foundation that's like Sandy Hook anti-guns nevermore. Like it's the
yeah.
gun control foundation that came out of
Mhm,
Sandy Hook that's like let's get rid of guns. But there's this other foundation, that's what this guy's involved with, that's more so about awareness
mhm.
and more so about education, and it brings in both sides of people, right? Because nobody wants school shootings, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants more education. It's only one side of people that want to reduce the amount of guns in the country.
Yes.
So naturally, this other one has more broad appeal. So we were kind of talking about that and ways to implement that kind of in the pro-life world, because obviously it's the
Mhm.
same kind of issue, right? You have women's health, and you have like the issue of abortion, and so it's like, well, everybody wants women to be healthy. So is there a way that we can kind of figure out how to bridge that gap, and like try to
Yeah.
bring people on board without them immediately seeing pro-life and then running away because they don't want to have a conversation about it. So what we were talking about just now, just talking about like the imperfect people and the wealthy people and the non-orthodox people, it's like it feels like that idea is what the church should be, but like we have a really hard time wrapping our minds around that.
Yeah.
Like the church should be something that appeals to quote unquote both sides, you
Mhm.
know. Like even if someone is a transgender communist who hates God, like there still should be a place for them in the church, which is
Yeah.
like crazy to people because they're like, like they don't know how to reconcile that.
They don't agree that a woman is a an adult human female.
Yeah, which I don't know.
They don't
It's
agree
this
with it.
weird. Tell me if you experience this, because I feel like the more deeply I get convicted about like the sins of our age, right? Like the
Mhm.
truly horrific things that happen because of the abortion movement, the transgender movement, like all these things that are happening to people. People are killing themselves and all these things.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is a result of like sin and negligence and the devil. It's like the more I get convinced of that, the more I'm like, okay, we have to oppose this and we have to, figure out a way to move past this somehow. The more I'm convinced that like the people who are affected by those things need a place in the church. Like
Yes.
we need to like this is so wrong, this is so evil,
Mhm.
but like at the same time, the door needs to be open wider than it is currently, which is like a
Yeah.
really weird
It's
place to be.
it's a you're finding the sword that cuts between bone and marrow, like
Yeah.
the thing that's so hard to you can't I mean, separating a bone from its marrow is not an easy thing. And so like the word of God needs to be like sharp and like it
Yeah.
slices and it like separates it actually separates the sinner from the sin. It's not like when you are able to conceptually separate the sinner from the sin, then
Hmm.
you can understand how God can forgive. And it's a
Hmm.
really difficult thing, but it's a human thing. Like my son thinks that everything is dog, dog,
Yeah.
dog,
Dog.
dog, dog.
Dog.
And when he grows up, he will learn to distinguish between that dog and how that dog is actually a cat and that dog is a dog. He'll be able to
Hmm.
distinguish those things. Developing and growing in languages is learning distinctions, and you get this from like everything is bad, right? Or everything like this word is everything is painful, a paper cut and getting your arm chopped off. But then you learn the difference between like painful and excruciating. You learn how
Hmm.
to distinguish words and be precise with your words. You can also learn as you grow like spiritually to be precise with like your judgment of people and how like or your judgment of sin and being like, yeah, this is really really bad
Hmm.
and this person is really good. And the problem when you haven't distinguished that yet is you go one of two ways. You go, that sin is really bad. Therefore, that person must be bad. Or that person is good. So their sin must not be that bad. And
Hmm.
it's like a really spiritually immature place to be.
Yes.
And we have like different sins we have soft spots for, right? Like
Hmm.
so that kind of shows up in the way that we judge people. But I'm glad to hear that you're kind of developing that because that's
Yeah.
like I want that too, you
Yeah.
know? Like, I
It
wanna
make
be able to, like, slice through I feel like I'm that way with transgendered people. I think
Yeah.
I'm getting there with transgender people because 'cause I'm like, I am so sympathetic to what you're going through
Right.
because I myself would not be able to answer the question, "What does it mean to be a man?"
Right.
Until, like, I thought about it, wrote a book about it, It's like
Yeah.
until I actually thought it through. So, like, I'm not, like, surprised that if Matt Walsh walks up to someone and goes, "What is a woman?" They don't know the answer to that question
Yeah.
because it feels incomplete to say
Right.
an adult human female. Like, that just seems silly,
Hmm.
It's like, "Okay, great. Awesome. What is a female then? I don't know. Like, let's go further."
Yeah. It's
Why is it
it's
so important? Yeah.
it's like I think if I get at the root of it, and I would be surprised if this wasn't the case for more people if they were really being honest with themselves. I think a lot of times where the whole spectrum, the whole gamut, like if I'm talking to someone that I is like very obviously like there's a barista at a coffee shop that I go to who
Mhm.
is a guy that presents himself like a woman.
Yeah.
and it's like he
It's
has
always a coffee shop.
he's got the nails done. He's like wears heels. He looks very uncomfortable, to be honest. And so it's like difficult for me to like have a conversation with him because it's
Yeah.
like I don't know what to say to you.
Yeah.
Like you say your name's Kelly. It's like I don't want to call you Kelly, but like that's what you say your name is. So it's just uncomfortable. Like I don't know what to
Yeah.
do. And so usually what I do is I just like avert and I just avoid the situation
Sure.
because there's something about this that's like unattractive to me and unappealing. Even all the way down to, let's say I'm at a party with my friends and there's one guy there or a couple people there who I just like don't get along with, not because they've done anything wrong, but just because our personalities don't mesh. I do the exact same thing. I just avoid them because
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know what to talk to them about. So I'm just going to hang out with the people that I know that I get along with.
Mhm.
And so it's really like a lot of the times where I have this trouble with other people and evangelizing or welcoming them or loving them or even just talking to them, it's because there's something wrong with me where I see someone and I go, ugh, that's not what I prefer. And then I rationalize why it's okay for me to not love them as if I was talking to like one of my best friends or my wife, who's a beautiful woman, or even just like an average person who's just generally attractive to me, like someone who's
Yeah.
like me, someone who talks the same way as me, like that. It's easy to talk to those people because it's easy. And so
Mhm.
I feel like I kind of meme myself into being like a good, loving, sociable Catholic person, but really I just talk to people like me. And
Fair. Yeah,
I
there
think
I
I think
mean,
that's at the root of a lot of it for a lot of people, like that they
there's an
don't want to
element
admit.
there's an element to that that is natural and good.
Sure.
So, like, we ought to love more people that are this is gonna sound weird, but it's true. We ought to love more people that are closer to God. Now, by that, I mean, like, will their good more because
Uh-huh.
God is obviously willing their good more and giving them the graces to move them closer to Him. And
Sure.
love is like sharing. So, like, we share more with people that are closer to God, the closer we get to God. But we ought to love people that are closer to us with more intensity. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So, like, there's a difference between, like, love in reference to God and love in reference to ourself. So, like,
Right.
love in reference to God, we should love people that are closer to God more. Love in reference to ourself, we should love with more intensity the people that are closest to us, like our spouses, our parents, our children, our friends. And we should also, like but we're also called to love our enemies, which is, like, a
Mhm.
strange
Yeah.
it's that's one of the difficult parts of Christianity, but that doesn't mean that you're supposed to, like, go out of your way to, like, show more favors to your enemies.
Sure.
It just means that you ought to love them as much as you love people that are, you know,
Yeah.
that f I hold on. It means that you because your enemy them being your enemy this is it. The problem is that we often love people in reference to ourself rather than loving them with the intensity in reference to ourself. I can tell this is getting confusing. Let me just
Yeah.
take the intensity piece out of it.
Yeah.
We we love people it as, like,
Say it like I'm a high
we
school at a
yeah.
night at a life night.
Great. So your love is directed towards something,
Yeah.
right? If your love is directed towards God, you are going to love people in reference to God. Like you're going to love them more and get them closer to God, right? If the principle of love is yourself, you are only going to love people that are close to you
Yes.
insofar as they are close to you. No,
Right.
it doesn't matter if they're closer to or farther from God. So,
Mhm.
like, what you need to do is you need to change the principle of your love to God, and then you love people as they are walking towards God. So,
Right.
like, as you increase in love for them, they increase in love for God. As they increase in love for God, you increase in love for them. And so, like, there is an element of like, I am repulsed by the sin and the sinner. And there is a sense of like, I need to leave and like not love this person and like not love this person as much as I love like another person who's a saint because they're bad for me. Like
Mhm.
it's bad to be around sinners in a certain sense. Like
Yeah.
it can be poisonous. But like oftentimes when
But Jesus
we
came to dine with sinners and
yes
prostitutes.
yes
You know?
and
He
yeah
hung
and
That was
like
his whole MO, is that I'm gonna hang out with these people all the time regardless of the
mhm,
so-called poison.
yes. But I think the difference was that Jesus' principle of love was the Father.
Mhm.
And so he loved them as they were walking to the Father because they were actually closer to the Father than the Pharisees were.
Sure.
And the Pharisees' principles of love was themselves, and so their hierarchy of love was who agrees with me,
Right.
and tax collectors and prostitutes were at the bottom of the barrel. And so I think that's the issue that we face is like we love we don't love the transgender barista because we view this person as an enemy
Mhm.
because they're ideologically opposed to me, right? But it's like whoever is not against you is for you. That's what Jesus says to the apostles: "Is whoever is not against you is for you." I was meeting with clients who were, I was meeting with clients who run a pet cremation business,
Yeah.
and they are two gay women. And I told them it was a Catholic magazine, and they didn't seem to hate that. And so I was like, "Great, whoever is not against me is for me." Right? Jesus says, "Whoever is not for me is against me." The standard is higher for Jesus.
Sure. Yeah.
So Jesus is like, "Whoever is not for me is against me, but whoever is not against you is for you."
Mhm.
So like I have there's a lower bar for me. So I should be more accepting.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And I think this I say all this to just hopefully reframe our conversation just around different issues. It's the transgender thing, it's the sexuality thing, but it's also the
Yeah.
wealth thing, which is becoming such a
Sure.
big issue in
Yeah.
Catholicism now. I will always repost my meme of the two guys shaking hands, and it's Catholics and children, and thinking that $1 million is a lot of money. Like everybody is just, oh, you're rich, so you must be this and this.
Yeah.
And it's like it's still a sin to hate rich people as much
A
as it is
lot
a
a lot
sin to
of a
hate poor
lot of it
people.
is a lot of it is cope, it's like
Cope, jealousy, envy,
yeah.
covetousness, like
Yeah.
those are real problems too, just as much as
Mhm.
like greed, and ignoring the poor because you're lazy. Like those
Yeah.
are also problems. So I'm just
A
saying,
wealthy person being greedy is like, you know, is bad, but like a poor person that's greedy is just sad,
I know.
'cause it's like an unrealized desire. That's kind of,
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I just want people to look at
I say this as a greedy poor person.
poor guy.
Sorry.
Just do the invoices, man. Just do
I
them.
Right, right.
They're
I'm
so
leaving money on
simple.
the table.
Just look at the church. It's gonna be a lot of. I tweeted this, but I deleted it because I thought it was dumb after a while. But I tweeted that I'm preparing for the post collapse Continental Congress by wearing a wig in a sauna and arguing with an Andrew Tate fan and a trans person.
That's funny.
The joke has too many layers to be good on Twitter,
Too
but
many
it's
layers, but I
funny
liked
for
it.
me. So it's like
Congressional Congress.
because the Continental Congress was in a really hot room and they were all wearing wigs and they were all arguing with each other. And
Yeah,
so I was thinking, like, okay, well, I'm going to train for being in the hot room and wearing a wig by going in the sauna with a right wing guy and a left wing person.
that's funny.
This was funny, right? But I think that's how more and more of this is going to be. It's like we're moving towards not the end times, but we're moving towards a time where the church is going to be a refuge for people. And if we don't treat it like that, if we treat it like this is our place for us and no one else, well, that's not really what it's here for, especially in a time of crisis where people are
Yeah,
looking for something solid. Um, so I don't know. I just hope that people kind of get over themselves and get over their own predilections about whatever is wrong with the person in front of them, and they just love them in reference to God, like you were saying.
yeah. I'm glad that made sense. I'm trying to pull out
It
some of
didn't
my
make a ton of
Thomistic.
sense, but you have confused people on the podcast before, and undoubtedly you will do it again.
Yeah, that's what I get for trying to use my Thomas Aquinas class, um, without really like studying.
Ha ha ha.
I did good. I got a 100% on my final exam for
Yay.
my Thomas Aquinas class, which legally means I get to take over pints now. I
Mm.
got a 100%
We're gonna
on
we're gonna
Thomas.
we're gonna get on that show. We're gonna
We're
be
gonna get
on
on that.
there. We're
We're
gonna
gonna
get
make
on
him
that
fly
fucking
us out.
show. I
Hey,
don't
if
care.
anybody here knows Matt Fred, wait, dang it, I know Matt Fred.
We just gotta ask once a year. Our annual ask. You
Be
can't
like,
be afraid.
Happy New Year, Matt. It's that
Texting
time of
him,
year again.
texting him at midnight every year on
This
New
is my
Year's Eve.
annual ask.
Hey, Happy New Year.
Can I call your
Zach,
podcast?
got a show, please. Do you want to do a Dr. Ethan's dating corner
It
question?
is time for everyone's favorite segment,
Yes.
Dr. Ethan's dating corner. I have reached out to some Reddit mods to ask them what are the best dating questions you guys have ever seen on your subs.
Wow.
Yeah,
You put in the work this week.
I did.
Yeah.
I talked to one of our priest friends who's a mod on, Catholic Discord, the r/Catholicism, and then I DM'd the Catholic dating people. They haven't gotten back to me. Well, actually, I
Oh,
haven't checked Reddit, so I don't know.
okay.
But, yeah, so we're gonna be out here.
We will be out here.
The dating corner is gonna we're gonna get some juicy ones.
We're
I haven't
scouring all the corners of the internet. But if you have a question for the dating
yes.
corner and
Uh-huh.
you have a specific issue that you would like to resolve, you can post it in the dating corner channel on our Discord at bit.ly/crunch discord. Or if you'd like it to be more private, you can email it to patrick
More
at
intimate.
thecrunchcast.com. You can also DM us on Instagram, but send it to Patrick's email, patrick at
Yeah.
thecrunchcast.com, or post it in the Discord. And we'll be happy to answer anything because we know that you've got problems and you know that you can trust two guys with kids under the age of 2.
Yep. Well, I mean, we obviously I'm batting 500. I don't know, I had 2 relationships, married the second one, so
I've had 3 relationships. I'm 333.
hey, that's major league, buddy.
I am major league.
I am major league. I
I'm
am Mike
Charlie Sheen in Major League.
I'm the Mike Trout of getting
I'm the Shohei Otani of getting married.
'cause I'm the Shohei Otani of getting married because I pitch and hit. Anyway, I don't know if that's like a reference or something.
I don't know. I'm a designated. I'm designated.
I'm designated
I've been
something.
designated.
I don't know what to tell you.
All
All
right.
right, so this one comes from actually I don't have a name here. So it's anonymous.
Oh, wonderful.
Short synopsis: my friend has a crush on a guy. She asked him out. He said no. Turns out he has same sex attraction. He
Oh,
came
he
out and
has
entered a
it.
same sex relationship. He has it. It's got like a
He
little
caught it.
he came out and entered a same sex relationship. Cherry on top, my friend and this guy live in the same house.
Oh,
Yeah,
what's the question?
I know. So this is interesting
Move out.
situation. My female friend is 36 years old. She lives with a family of 3. She has a whole suite on the top floor. The parents sleep downstairs. Right across the hall from her suite is the bedroom of their 25-year-old son. Okay.
Wait a minute. So the 25-year-old son is the gay guy,
Yeah, I guess
and
so.
she's 36, and she was
Yeah.
asking him out.
Ooh. Ooh, a little bit of an age difference there. Good for
I
her.
know.
My friend has grown incredibly close to the family, especially the son, over the last 2 years, I bet. She began to develop feelings for him, I bet, and she told him how she feels. He turned her down and revealed to her that he has same-sex attraction. They
Ooh.
continued being friends and still spend a ton of time together. Months later, he came out on social media and revealed he is in a same-sex relationship. Now my friend struggles to get over him and is tormented by hearing him in the other room on FaceTime with his boyfriend. I've recommended she spend way less time with him and consider moving out if it's too much. She won't consider moving out because she lives there rent free. She says she doesn't want to lose him as a friend because he's such a good guy. She also doesn't want him to think she's distancing herself because of his same sex relationship. What does the good doctor recommend for a situation like this?
To be honest, I'm gonna have to Google a few things. You know, when you go to the doctor and you're like, I don't know what this is, and they kind of turn to the computer and you can see them like look it up real fast. It's like that's kind of where I feel
I've
like
never had that happen.
this is well. So I've had a various diseases and illnesses that have
Sure.
baffled the top doctors. Um, I uh, this is a
First of all,
first. This is a first for me in
yeah,
all of my
definitely.
years of medicine. I've never seen anything like this.
I'm gonna Google something real quick because
She's
I
36?
am living there rent
There's
free,
nothing
and
wrong with
then
being 36 and getting a room rent free. There's also nothing wrong with being 36 and falling in love with your roommate. There's also nothing wrong with being 36 and developing feelings for a 25-year-old. There's also nothing wrong with being 36 and developing attractions towards a gay man. It's just all these happening at the same time. It's just such a cocktail of things that I've never heard about before. What are you looking up?
okay, so I'm looking up impediments to marriage because
Okay.
I think
Uh-huh.
your friend is fine
Mhm.
because she oh my gosh, hold on. Impediments to marriage. Is there a list of impediments to marriage? Oh, specific impediments. Um there's an age impediment. Uh there's an anti-perpetual. Okay, yeah. Wait. I'm sorry. Hold on.
This is the worst podcasting.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying to. I'm trying to. Oh, consanguinity.
Hmm.
Um. Okay. The impediment of public propriety arises when a couple live together after an invalid marriage. No, this is never mind. That's not correct. A marriage is invalid between those related by consanguinity in all degrees, whether ascending or descending, 4 degrees. And then
Can
I
you
think,
say what you're trying to say without just reading it from the website, please?
yeah. I'm sorry. I'm trying to. I want to make sure that I'm correct on this.
It
Fine.
doesn't
Never
matter if
mind.
you're correct. This is a comedy podcast.
That's a good point. Ed and JD correct me on this, but I'm pretty sure there's an impediment to marriage if you're a brother and a sister. Obviously, brothers and sisters can't get married. That's an
Right.
impediment to marriage. If you cohabitate
Uh-huh.
together in
Yeah.
like a household,
Uh-huh.
like you're adopted or something,
Sure.
that is also an impediment to marriage.
Mm.
If you live together like brother and
But
sister.
I think this
So,
is different because she's renting a room from a family. It's not
I don't
like,
know. I
what do
don't
you
know.
mean? What do you mean
I
you
think
don't
you
know?
couldn't get
She
married
didn't.
even if you tried.
So you're telling me
Yeah.
that if I'm me, right? Let's
Yeah.
take the age thing out of the question. I'm me, and I need somewhere to live.
Yeah.
And I find this Catholic family, and they're like, "Hey, we have an extra room. We've got 5 kids. There's a 4-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 19-year-old, and a 25-year-old. Right? They've really spaced them out. I was just guessing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and the 25-year-old lives far away. We don't ever see her, but you can stay with us. And so I move in. I live there for 6 months. Okay. Daughter comes back, the 25-year-old. Oh, I'm back from Spain. I need somewhere to live. She lives there for a month. We fall in love. You're saying I can't get married because I live there like a sibling.
Yep.
You're
No,
insane.
that's not the situation.
But I
The
think
situation is
I
she's
think
been living
the
there for
situation. No,
years.
I think this situation is more similar to what I just described than the situation of them being like brother and sister.
No, they've been living together for 2 years.
Okay.
She's like, "I've grown incredibly close to the family, especially their son." This is like developing she's like become a part of the family. You
Right.
understand what I mean?
She just
It's
wants
not
to
like she's
marry part of
renting.
the
It's not
family.
she's also not renting. She's living there rent
She's
free.
living there rent free. Yeah. So there is but here's the thing. This is why you're the nurse and I'm the doctor. This is not what she needs right now. She doesn't
No.
need reasons why she can't marry
Don't
this
worry.
gay
You couldn't
guy.
marry him even if he
Yeah,
wasn't
no,
gay.
even if he was straight and liked you, you'd be illegal.
Sucks.
Yeah, it's too
So,
bad.
now you can get that stuff dispensed. Who cares?
Why did you bring it up?
Because it was funny. It made you upset. That's why.
Oh, I am upset. Here's what I think. Here's my official after some consulting with my so-called peers. Here's what I think. I think she doesn't want to move out, which makes sense because she has developed feelings for this family. Like she kind of feels like it's home for her. And I don't know what else is going on in her life, but if we take a step back for a second and see, okay, this is a woman who's 36 years old. Is 10 years older than me. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 26. So 10 years older than me. And she feels like she can't leave because she feels a part of this family.
Yeah.
I think there's something else going on
Yeah.
other than the fact that she likes the gay guy.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it feels like there's some type of hesitancy to leave. Maybe it's because she just feels secure and she's worried that if she leaves and has to go and figure it out on her own, then she won't be secure.
Yeah.
I don't think it
That's
has to do with the
possible.
money. I think it's like you're 36 years old, you're living with a family, you aren't
Rent is
starting
a
a
lot.
family of your own. I mean, it can be really scary to leave that and then face the reality that like, okay, if I want that I just left, I have to go create it for myself, which means I have to find someone, marry them, and have kids. And I'm 36.
Yeah, it's
Like
hard.
my window is just shorter. And so that's just really, I think there's just a lot of
Yeah.
emotional, maybe not trauma, but like emotional it's not
Hang-ups.
yeah, hangups is a really good word.
Yeah.
Emotional hangups to like leave that situation specifically. And so I think as the friend, you have to kind of approach this and recognize, like, okay, this isn't really about the money. This isn't really about the gay guy. This is about my friend who's an adult who is scared, who's like afraid, like, and
Yeah.
that's what this is really about. And is feeling, yeah, she's feeling rejected and like it's hard for her. Um, but I think it's more so about what the gay guy represents than about the gay guy himself, you
What if
know?
the real gay guys were the friends that we made along the way?
Because him rejecting her is not just it's not just about her not it's 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 not just him rejecting her for another guy and like the
Mhm.
feelings that would arise. It's the family that she's gotten super close with. She tried to make that bond even stronger, and part of it was broken. Like
Yeah.
she really felt secure and safe there because she's lived there for 2 years, and she was trying to find this guy. It's like, okay, I could be safe forever if this guy would just like marry me and I could just become a real part of the family.
Yeah.
Then I could just be here and I wouldn't have to leave.
It's
And
like
now
dear
that
Evan
option has been
Hansen.
like permanently taken off the table because
Mhm.
the guy is just gay. And so yeah, I think the best thing for her is for her to move out and to like start her
Start
own
lar
life.
knocking on doors like the solar panel salesman. "Hey,
Right.
do you have any people that can marry me?
Yeah. I think she's got to get out of there
Do you
sooner rather
have a
than later.
goat? You
Yeah.
could dance in the Paris Square in front of the Cathedral of Notre Dame."
Do you have a gypsy man that you can have claim her as she's about to be executed in the square? We are referencing the Hunchback of Notre Dame, patreon.com/thegrunge. Listen to the bonus podcast. But I think it's the friend, as the person who wrote this in, can she move in with you? Is that something that she can do?
Yeah,
Can you offer a free room for 6 months, 3 months in your house to like
maybe.
kind of help extricate her from the situation? You're like SEAL Team 6 right now. Like you are the special forces that
You
has
gotta
to
get in there and you gotta kill bin Laden,
you
and by
gotta-
kill bin Laden, I mean you gotta get your friend out of that house.
don't kill anybody, but you do got to
Yeah,
get into the compound, extract the
at night,
target, and then leave with no
helicopter
burials,
in.
no burials at sea. No, yeah, don't do any of that. Did I ever tell you that after the day after Osama bin Laden was killed, my AP US history teacher got a bullhorn and an American flag and ran around the halls of the school saying, America has won," over and over again. It's a great day to be American. Um,
That's funny.
and then years later, so like I had him for class again, like 3 years later after that.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it. He goes, "I admit I might have gone a little overboard that day." Oh, it was really funny.
No,
Anyway,
don't apologize, you gotta post through it.
yeah,
Just gotta
right.
keep posting.
So I don't know. What do you think? Is there anything else there? I mean, I think
No, that's
that's
about
just
it.
really hard. Like
Yeah,
that
that's
just
it.
I think she's just scared and she just needs a friend is probably
Yeah,
the best thing that you can do here. Ugh,
that's all I can do.
man,
Oh, sorry. Jeez. It's early.
you're making Patrick cry.
Yawning is what I'm doing.
All right. Well, this has been our show. If you like the show, leave us a review on iTunes. That's the best thing that you can do to help us out is to drop a review. We've already mentioned the Patreon and the Discord, but leave us a review, 5 stars, boost us in those ratings. That
Yeah.
would be absolutely huge. This summer is going to be the Podgirl summer. We're going to have it's going to be full of content. It's going to be full of goofs and gaffs and uh, I'm moving in a month. My closing date got moved back again, which is really frustrating. I was going to move on the 2nd, but now I'm moving on the 9th. And if they move it back
Bummer.
again, we've reached the point where my rate lock expires. So I hope that they do
Oh,
not move it anymore because then it starts costing me extra money.
wait, can
Uh,
they do that?
who's they?
Can they move your move-in date and then cost you more money?
So what would happen would be um, the bank kind of told me there's like a week of wiggle room if you have to
Yeah.
go past the rate lock date. But there could be a small fee. But then if it's way past it, like weeks past it, then I have to re-go through the whole process again, and it's just will
Oh,
cost me
jeez.
more. So there's like an additional fee on top of it. So anyway, so the builder can delay it. There's really nothing I can do except pray to our Lord in heaven that it doesn't
Jeez.
happen.
Well,
Home buying, everyone says that home buying is stressful, but you don't realize that it is until you do it.
I bet.
Yeah. So anyway, also share the episode with your friends.
Yes.
If you enjoyed the podcast, you can always word of mouth is the greatest.
If you think that the episode title "Quantum Mononucleosis" is funny,
That is a good title. Yeah.
then
Yeah.
then you should share the podcast with your
I was
friends.
thinking about making it Sheldon said what on the Big Bang Theory? Question mark, question mark, question mark. That was going to be my title.
No, you
No.
gotta do quantum
Quantum
mononucleosis.
mononucleosis. It's good. And then the first thing that they hear about is Epstein on the pod. It's gonna be great.
Yep.
Patrick, do you have anything else for the people?
My invoices may be outstanding, but at least I'm outstanding.
Thank you all for listening. Please pray for us. We will be praying for you, and we will see you all next week.
Good episode.